Hi, Jonathan York from Investment Research Group, looking at the investment markets ahead. It should be quite an interesting week this week. We've got a couple of big votes taking place. The first one will be the Frontera vote to see if you can allow trading in the shares. That potentially does open up Frontera to some outside interest, and it'll just be interesting to see how that gets carried. The other big vote this week is in Parliament with the state asset sales and the mixed sort of ownership plan. It looks like that will get through with the smallest majority, and that will then set up later in the year for the start of the state asset sales. Mighty River Power will be the first cab off the rank. The view is that that will be priced, to say, pretty attractively, so you can generate quite a bit of interest for the others that are coming through. If the first one's a bit of a flop, then there's really not going to be too much interest in the other ones. So if you do have an interest in those state asset sales, call us on 0800 867 323 to register your interest. We can then contact you once we get clearer information on these deals. Also announced this morning, potentially there could be a retail bond in the marketplace from Z Energy. No terms have been announced yet, but if you look at it, there are other bonds. It's probably going to be sort of between 5 and 7 years. Interest rates obviously are a little bit lower though, and it looks potentially as though it could be between sort of 6 to 6.5% as a coupon. But say that's just sort of estimates and sort of guesses really, until we see the finite data from them. If this does interest you, of course, on 0800 867 323 to register your interest. We can then contact you once we find out whether the issue is definitely going to take place, and obviously if it is going to take place, then what the terms will be. In New Zealand as well, we had much stronger GDP last week, and those around 2.4 year on year. Potentially that could just put a little bit of pressure out there on interest rates. So sort of watch this space. Most people still feel that the next interest rate rise is not until 2013, but if we continue to get growth coming through at those sort of levels, potentially we might just see a little bit of move towards the end of this year. Interesting as well, last week seemed to have sort of crept through almost unnoticed, but China have relaxed some of the foreign rules for ownership of shares in China, and these are actually quite major changes. They reduced the assets under management from 5 billion to 500 million, and finally the track record now is down to 2 years from 5 years. That's some pretty major concessions, and could just be quite a major boost to the domestic Chinese share market. In the US, the market finished not too bad in the end. Obviously we got the election from Greece going through as people really anticipated. This week we've got a major Euro summit, and it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. So say if you are interested in that Z Energy or the state asset sales, call us on 0800 867 323 or go to the website www.irgbop.co.nz for lots of interesting articles. We look forward to speaking to you soon.